They keep showing Cinderella. I haven't watched that in so long. But they just showed the one scene where she's all dressed up. Remember, her animals helped make that beautiful dress and necklace, and they collected the trash, what the stepsisters threw away. She collected and made something beautiful and magnificent. And when they saw it, they got angry, and they wanted to rip it off of her and tear it back. They already claimed they didn't want it, and now they want to rip it off of her and tear her to shreds and rip her joy and happiness from her, take her hard work, this kind of thing. And they just keep playing that same scene over and over again, and how awful it is, and how the stepmother had pushed and nudged and manipulated her daughters into doing such, right? Like she planted the seed. Oh, what did she say? Something about the necklace or something about the pearls. Like, oh, those pearls look familiar or something. That's all she had to say. And the girls were like, oh, she's right. Right? They were just looking for a reason or excuse to tear her to shreds. And how dare you take what we chose to throw away and make something magnificent of it, right? And, that's the story as old as time, right? Like you hear those dynamics often. Sorry, they're really making a point about this, and they're showing me quite a few things, and I'm trying to see what they're really saying here. Like, it always, to me, boils down to the same thing. Like, they were living in lack. And in other words, why wouldn't you be happy? What does that not feel good to you? Aren't you happy for yourself and for others? Doesn't it feel good to be happy, and happy for you and happy for others? But no, some people, I guess I said that in the last one too, there's something there. It's like, I shouldn't judge that either. Like, they like to live in fighting and lack and scrapping and being manipulated, right? The stepmother was manipulating them, and all trying to act like she was innocent or classy. Now, girls, right? Like, oh, she was in charge. But I guess it's like it's a false sense of power. It's an illusion that they're trying to paint or portray to give themselves some sense of control, because they can't control their inner voice. That's it. They can't control what they're telling themselves, because they're lying to themselves right off the bat when they're behaving in such a manner. And then it makes them rage, it makes them angry, it makes them upset that their inner voice is being mean to them. And so instead of directing their anger correctly and turning inward and going, what am I telling myself? She looks beautiful. That's fantastic. I threw that away. I didn't want that anymore. I wasn't able to find use for it. Look at her. How wonderful. She made it into a beautiful necklace. Beautiful. Fantastic. Look at her. That's so creative. That is amazing. I'm so impressed. I'd love to be that creative. How did you think of that? That's a genius, right? Like, instead of getting curious or inspired or walking their way up the scale or whatever they need to do, no. They enjoy, it's like that's what they're familiar with. They're familiar with tearing down, ripping off, tearing to shreds, being vicious and angry. And it's coming from that lower energy, that anger in their belly, that seething, that jealousy, that hatred. And so, but it's also envy, right? And like the desire to be her or be like her, right? Like it's like a love-hate in that sense, where they love her, but they don't want her to be her. They want to be her, right? It's such a fucked up mentality, but yet this is... Like, to me, this is, they've shown this recently too. It's like a lot of people jumping in and tearing to shreds. It's like because they're living in, oh my God, right. They kept showing me that too. Remember, they kept taking me to all those alligator and lion clips. And a lot of times it was that. There was a few that the alligators would attack one and just tear it to shreds, Meanwhile, they're living in abundance, right? There's animals everywhere. There's this everywhere. But one person catches a big hippo and they all dive in. Now, there was enough for them to all dive in, but it's that idea where, as humans, we're living in a world of abundance. But so here's the tricky part. So I know I just don't know what you're showing me yet. They're showing me a couple things here. So it's like, on one hand, please control your thoughts and your focus, because that is the control you have. So choose your reality wisely. It is the idea of like, but if you're elevating, if you're going into the new timeline, meaning you are shifting how you focus, your thoughts, all these things. We've talked about it where if you start flying high and people rip you out of the sky. Well, that's the recognition you're still in the wrong sky, right? Like at some point you do have to recognize they don't want to go into the new world. They don't want to fly with you. They don't want to learn. They don't want to shift inside. They're familiar with what they're familiar with and they're sticking to it. So you either keep going back in the alligator den and get shredded, or you fly elsewhere. You are a bird, you can fly. So there's that, but there's still more here. There's something about it's this. They just keep showing them all foaming at the mouth and all shredding apart something. But meanwhile, you're no longer there. That's good, right? You up and flew away, right? It's that idea. It's like, leave the chaos behind. You don't want to partake in it. If you stay, you're going to have no choice. Okay, there's something there. You're going to have no choice but to participate in it, because they want to keep pulling you and sucking you in. And it's not that you are easily sucked in. It's the fact that you're tired of resisting going in. So the next logical step is stop being around that. Right? It's like, there is still more here. They're showing this. Okay, so there's people fighting over scraps while you're living in abundance. It's not laughable, but it's comical in that sense where it's like, if they could lift their head up at all above water, they would see how silly and ridiculous that is. Right? It's like, you're not going to fight over, I was going to say what is rightfully yours. I guess it's like they threw away all of her clothes, remember? Or they threw away their like clothes and scraps, and they expected Cinderella to clean it all up, right? To take care of the mess that they created. And she always did. She always wiped up after them and cleaned everything up. And she also acknowledged that you're living in so much abundance, you're throwing away pearls and scraps. Why can't you be happy? But I can be happy with your scraps. I'll take your scraps and make a beautiful dress and necklace. So she didn't even question why they are the way they are or try to change them. She just did what she needed to do to keep her vibration high. She did her job. She was cleaning stuff up, and the effort she made, she kept trying to make her mother's wedding dress. And the animals saw how hard she was working. Your spirit guides see how hard you're working. And they're always happy to jump in and help where they can, especially when they see sometimes you're in impossible situations where no matter how hard Cinderella tried or how good of a job she did, they made sure to distract her and busy her with work that was never hers to do. And she did it anyway, and she did it happily, and she allowed herself to remain as happy as she could be considering the circumstances by choosing her focus, choosing to focus on what she would prefer. And the day when she got to be free and happy and be with somebody who loved her and she loved them. And that's what allowed her to stay in that high vibration and keep doing what she needed to do until that day arrived. Now we're in a day and age where we can have more control of our circumstances, meaning you always just want to go with the inspired flow, but you have the choice now to go with that inspired flow, right? There's been times where people don't have the ability to go with the inspired flow because of life circumstances. That doesn't mean they don't stop dreaming, and that doesn't mean miracles can't happen, but that does also mean I'm not ignorant to some people's true reality, and that their cleanup work and their vibration takes tremendously more effort than some of us, right? Their ability to love themselves and focus on what they do want might be that much more challenging, right? They might have more distractions than most of us. And so it's going to be more of a challenge for some than others to relax and to focus on what they want. But again, like Cinderella found a way where she was able to still do her job and relax doing her job. She got really good at her job, knowing how to do her job well, and float in the fantasy of what she desired, what she wanted to look forward to keep her vibration high and happy. And I'm still not, there's still something I think that they're trying to show me that I'm jumping over, right? It's like you don't, like as far as Cinderella, I think the movie was portraying like she didn't look at herself as living in lack. But from an outsider point of view, you might be like, oh, she has the least of all. But it depends on how you look at it, right? Like when we all watched the movie, we also thought she's spectacular. Everybody loves Cinderella. So actually, we didn't look at her that way, even though that was also the silent message too. Like she has the least and she's the happiest. And it doesn't mean having the least. That's not the message. It means she's making the best of what she has and choosing to focus on what she'd prefer. And that's not going to affect her alignment with her and her loving herself. She didn't say, oh my God, I'm the maid, I'm the slave, so I hate myself. No, she never said that. That was never, it didn't even enter her thought form. Like it didn't dawn on her because she operates from her heart. So she wouldn't treat herself that way or speak to herself that way. That doesn't mean she can't be frustrated with her circumstances, but she's not going to mishinge or miscorrelate what's going on, right? Which you've heard me do many a times, right? Like you're told you're creating your own reality. And if you're not living in your perfect reality, well, you created that. It's like, be careful there, right? It's like that's why there's always these little nuances. Just be careful and don't look to disprove it or hurt yourself. Or do you see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, now you know what you know, and be Cinderella, right? Like make the best of your circumstances while focusing on what you truly want as often as you can, so that you can continue to float up in that higher vibration. Because again, that light shines through. Right? It's seen, it's felt, even if it's only through your spirit's guide seeing and feeling it, meaning only the animals saw her. It's not like she encountered other people. So it was, her blessings still came in. It's the idea of a miracle. It's the idea of the universe finds ways. We don't need to find ways to make what we want happen. If we do that, we turn into the evil stepmother and twin sisters. Right? Like they're trying to control their reality. They're trying to force and demand, and that's not how it works. So it's like we don't have to worry about how the universe is going to prepare our table or to bring us the feast we desire. We don't have to worry about that, but we do have to worry about how we feel and how we're choosing to focus. So if we don't like something and it doesn't feel good, does it feel good to keep focusing on it? Right? If she didn't like her circumstances, and if she continued to focus on her circumstances and say, I'm a slave, I can't stand this. I'm a slave every day. I hate it. I can't stand it. I'm a slave every day. I have to do this. I can't. Now they're calling me again. Now they're ringing the damn bell. If she kept pointing out her reality and kept screaming about her reality and kept insisting there was nothing she could do about it, she would quickly spiral into helpless and hopeless. So it's not ignoring, dismissing, accepting, allowing. It's not about that. It's about loving yourself and loving feeling good and loving filling up with unconditional love. And That's the challenge we have for ourselves. How much do we love ourselves? And so does it feel good focusing on this or this or this? No. Okay. Does it feel good focusing on this or this or this? Yes. Okay. Well, then focus there. Float there and allow that to expand. Allow that to continue to propel you forward. You don't have to worry about the other stuff. Depending on your circumstances, that might be the best and only thing you can do. And don't worry then. But when your circumstances continue to slowly evolve or change, which they will if you're doing your job of loving you and being kind to you and being true and honest, but focusing on what it is, but being true, like don't force yourself to like something you don't like or convince yourself, well, at least I have a home, at least, I have food and shelter. And I really like this. I actually like to clean. I actually like to clean and cook and take care of them. And I don't mind that they speak poorly to me and treat me less than and aren't nice to me. Don't convince yourself. I'm not telling you to make what your circumstances are pretty and rosy. You have to be honest and true. You don't like that. It doesn't feel good and it's not nice, and they're doing everything they can to put you in a negative and lack state. You're not aligning with them. You're aligning with you and your truth. The truth is you don't like it and you want better for you and you're worthy and better of more, and of course you are. So do what you need to do and allow your mind to float to what it is you would prefer. What would you like? What would feel good? Who would you like to surround yourself with? What do you wish for your life to look like, feel like, etc.? And then the universe will swoop in. And again, in this day and age, and depending on where you are in your circumstances and what portion of your journey, you might have the option. So you start to get inspired to move this way or that, or to do this or that. And a lot of times it is the stupidest things. It's never the thing you think it's going to be. It never is. It's always those like 10 tiny steps that lead up to something huge. But you never would have drawn that line. And the universe is well aware that you would have never connected those dots or done those things. And that's okay. We've talked about it where the universe will take me from step A to B, B to C, C to D. And sometimes some of us are willing to go from D to M. But how comfortable are you? How willing are you? How much do you desire to feel good? How much do you love yourself? How worthy are you? And so, again, be careful with all that, because again, it's hopefully I think if you're listening, you hear it on that deeper level, but they just showed me there's a lot of people that say these flowery things and misunderstand because they're not really listening to their inner guidance. They're trying to appear to love themselves by doing things that they believe others will think is loving and kind to them. Well, as soon as you put in other people, you're unaligned with yourself. Your equation involves you and you alone. You know your truth. Your truth, your alignment does not depend on anyone or anything outside of you. So if you are adding them into your equation, you're starting to slip from your own alignment, right? Because then you're worried about people pleasing or how you are perceived through their eyes. Why? You want to determine how you're perceived through your eyes, right? Through your source, through your connection. How does it feel for you? No one else knows. So if you ask them, how does it feel for you? What the fuck do they know? They're not in your body, but you are. And I think this is the other thing that trips people up is it's like they're afraid to say how they really feel because they've never walked it all the way through. And they might have experienced anytime they express their feelings, especially negative ones, they got in trouble. They got in big trouble. And so they hold back or try to convince themselves that they feel something other than they do. Why? And again, I don't know everybody has their own set of circumstances. And so I'm not telling you to get into fights or arguments or roll in the muck or you don't ever want to try to convince anybody else of how you feel. You don't need to. Who the fuck cares? They feel how they feel and you feel how you feel. But as long as you can get to your alignment, you get up to the highest vantage point where you're filled with unconditional love, so then you can offer it to them as well. So then you can see through their eyes with loving compassion and kindness for them. That's why you have compassion for them, because you can understand and see where they're coming from. They're coming from lack. And so the only job for you to do is to get in your alignment, because then you can see everything. You can hear everything. It's like it is a higher frequency. You can see it all. It's clearer. It's much clearer. So, it's just like, be careful with that. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? What are your real intentions and motives? And do you know? I shared that example with you. Well, I was going to say the other day. I posted it the other day. I posted it in August. I think towards the end of August, like the 25th or 6th or 7th or something like that, about when my daughter was much younger and I had an incident with her, and it triggered a wound in me where everybody was tearing at me and screaming at me, and I felt like I had all this pressure and I had to behave a certain way, or I would get spanked or in trouble or yelled at or torn to shreds. And it was, there was just so much going on, and it was triggering that chaos, right? There was always chaos. And so you couldn't stay calm and focused and relaxed and realizing how to handle the situation from unconditional love with an open heart. And it's that idea. It's like I was concerned, like all that was going on, I was getting triggered. But part of that triggering was worrying about how I was perceived, right? How my daughter was going to see me, how my friend was going to see me, how the school was going to see me, right? Was I doing the right thing? Was I behaving? Was I a good girl? Was I a good parent? Was I a good mom? Was I doing it right? What was I doing wrong? Everybody's screaming. What's going on? I have no control over other people's actions, and yet I'm supposed to soothe all of their emotions. And it was just, right? Too much. And that's what happens. But if I was concerned about no one and was able to clock out, meaning close my eyes and ears and center to my own alignment, to relax and know that I was safe and everything was okay. My daughter was safe and everything was okay. And she had the right to her feelings and emotions. And she was really triggered and upset because somebody she didn't care for was in the car. Or wasn't that she didn't care for her per se, but it was like a more or less a stranger was in the car when she was used to having her end of day time with her mother on the way home. And so that was a real disturbance, a real shock, a real upset, a real fright. And so she reacted accordingly, which is beautiful. She didn't give a fuck. She handled it perfectly. She didn't give a fuck what would be appealing or pleasing to me, to my friend in the car, to her teachers, to her schoolmates, to anyone. She was the only one who handled it correctly. She said, I don't fucking like this. This isn't what I'm used to. This hurts. This is so hurtful. This is so painful. This is so tearing me to shreds. This is so out of my alignment. This is so not okay with me. I am going to throw my body onto the floor and be as dramatic and as loud as I can be to let you know I am not okay with this disturbance in my routine. I love that about her. She doesn't, and again, we've talked about and so as we age and mature, we want to learn how to respond and not react. So meaning, yes, we do still have to behave in appropriate ways in public, but for her age and the circumstances, she behaved perfectly, the exact perfect way she should have and could have. You know what? I'll try to find where the date I put. I'll put them back to back. It was recently. If I can't find it, it really was recently. I mean, we're still, I think it's Yeah, we're very close to the end of August. So I guess that's the point of this. It's like you always had to stay aligned with yourself. We're going to be in situations and circumstances that we don't like or prefer. And maybe we don't want to believe we called it in, but sometimes we're calling it in more for the universe to say, I want you to love yourself more. You're right. I want to put you in better circumstances. I want to put you in scenarios that are more appealing and pleasing to you. So I need you to be crystal clear of what you do and do not like, and show me that you are capable of focusing on what you do like and what you do prefer. And so, yes, you might have to deal with the current life circumstances and get in the car and to go home. You might have to clean up the kitchen and take care of the siblings. But you don't have to pay that as much mind or attention. Where your attention can be is on what you do desire and how you want your life to be. And it doesn't always have to be an exact proportion. In other words, they were just showing some people will do just the opposite. So she had to care for her siblings and clean up the house and be the maid of the house. So she didn't necessarily want to have a maid. It wasn't like she was like, well, I want somebody to do that for me. No, she just wanted to be free and to be loved and to love another one. She didn't care so much about what she had to do. It wasn't that what she had to do was horrific. It wasn't that, I don't mind cooking and cleaning and in these things. It's not like that was it was like they wanted her to be mad about that because she was their slave. So they wanted her to feel like they were stepping on her, and they were attempting to step on her, but that's not going to step on her, right? Like, she's above all that. She loves herself enough that she's not going to buy into the narrative they're trying to paint. So it's this idea. Hopefully you can hear it through all these examples where it's like fine-tune yourself to these little understandings so you're not tripping yourself up. Oh, did I say the one? Did I just say the one? I don't know if I finished my thought or my sentence regarding sometimes people will just jump to the opposite. She didn't want to be a maid, so she would want to have a maid. And it's like, well, no, that's really not what you're even saying. So that's why you want to take a listen to what it is you desire. She didn't mind. She wasn't upset about the cooking and the cleaning per se. It gave her something to do, and she got so good at it that it was probably enjoyable because it was so easy and automatic for her that it allowed her mind to wander while her body automatically knew how to take care of her surroundings, right? It just became a routine or a ritual that allowed her to almost be in a meditative state all the time, right? Easily cooking and cleaning, and her focus, her intention was singing and being with the animals and desiring what it is she really, really wanted, and allowing the time to go by in the happiest, most pleasing possible way for her by singing and talking to her animals and allowing the universe to do its part, keeping herself open to the possibilities, the options. And right, like when she was so excited when that invitation came in, and I'm sure you've seen the movie. If you haven't, it's adorable. Go watch it. If you can or desire to. Okay, I'm going to jump off. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.